everyone, welcome to another episode of the Guile treatment. Got the Rockford PTC coming up, Chris Smith's annual baby.
My baby.
I know he's been pushing it pretty hard this year.
Yeah.
Has big designs.
I
Looking
got
to
schemes
be
and plans.
the biggest PTC in the history of Jasco.
Goddamn right. That's my plan.
So, trying to get that top 16 cut, because sure.
I guess so. I don't know. Hey, man, I don't think it's ever been done at a PTC, but it may be the only time it happens at a PTC because I was miserable at maybe. So
we'll see.
I don't know.
It seems excessive, but they just did a top 8 cut at a 13-man event.
Yeah, so why not? Yeah.
Top 16 at a 64 seems completely reasonable.
Now the real question is, do the mats say top 16 on them? We will find out when Ryan Pham gets here.
I'm actually surprised that they just don't have top cuts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
True.
That way it's if it's top 4, if it's top 8, if it's top 16, it doesn't matter. It just says top cuts.
Yeah.
And then you have one that's champion. I presume that's what, because doesn't Dragon Ball have mats like that?
I don't know.
I would imagine it doesn't matter. It's just top cuts.
I know that they sent the kit already, but the mats aren't in the kit. They're coming with Ryan Pham, so maybe they are putting in top 16 on the mat.
But then what happens if 63 people show up?
Well, I guess we'll have to sign up the store owner and one other guy. So
right, but they say top 16. It was only top 8.
No. If we're that close,
have to cut to top 16.
If we are that close,
are we deep diving semantics right as the show starts?
Yes, we are. Of course.
Let's go, bitches. Let's get this rolling.
But yeah, so I always want to put on the best PTC of the year. I believe Rockford is one of the top 3. But if not top, but Atlanta and Omaha are up there as well. I know Atlanta's always a good time. Omaha's usually a good time. I haven't been in a couple years because of scheduling, but this year I'm going. But anywho, Rockford has been, it's the 5th year, I think? 4th or 5th year. We've had 3 mats, so 4th year. The first year we didn't have a mat. So yeah, this is the 5th Rockford PTC. And
nice.
It's also going to be the hottest. It's supposed to be 100 degrees that day. So it's going to be brutal.
That's rough.
As long as your shop's conditioned, right?
Yeah, the air conditioning works in that, and we're in the back of the store this time because there's going to be more space, and then it's colder back there because there's no giant windows beaming light right into our faces, so we're going to be nice.
Yeah, it's colder back there until you got
72 people back there.
Yeah, for real, right? So that's I guess I'll start off with the logistics. That starts at 9:00 a.m. Saturday. Registration. I'm planning on 6 or 7 rounds. So man, we're gonna have a lunch break in there.
Yeah. So what is it? It's basically. Yeah. It's basically gonna be as long as a major, right?
Yeah. It will be.
Assuming that you have over 64. Yeah. Correct. It's got to be 7 rounds.
7 rounds. Yes. Yeah. 7 rounds, and then we're going to try to do as much top cuts as possible. We may only do top 16 that night, depending on how fast the games go.
If you do 7 rounds and top cuts, just see if you can do it faster than Worlds, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's the goal, right? That's the goal. is to beat them.
That's an admirable goal.
And then the next day, top cuts starts at 9. Come back at 9 a.m. Start top cuts. Finish top cuts. Then Chaos Team Sealed. Brought to you by Kevin Broberg. So that's all on the event page. I'll link that in the description box below so you guys can see all that, where we grab bag packs for teams and we just throw cards at each other. Jasco's hooked us up for that event. I'll talk about that real quick. They gave us a bunch of Premier Store promos to pass out. The Street Fighter, the Bebop ones, the Mortal Kombat ones. I was told that we may get past PTC promos for top cuts for top 4 or 8, depending on how many teams we got. And then I got some full alt foil revokes too to pass out. So I'll probably give those out as random door prizes for the teams tournament. My shop also, a guy has some old Yu Yu Hakusho t-shirts from the TCG. And he's going to be raffling those off as door prizes. So they're
what sizes are these?
I think
shirts?
they're XLs. I think they're XLs.
Okay.
So
Gamers medium, nice.
Gamers medium, correct. Yes.
I can't fit it in a thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be like a blanket on you. But yeah, so he gave away a bunch of old. They had a bunch of old movie posters they gave away one year for. I think it was for the Money in the Bank event that Barrett showed up to. I think they gave away Mark Slam Wisniewski took home a Blade 3 movie poster, and I went to his place the following summer. He had it hanging in his wall. 3. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, so my shop's ready. We're gonna have plenty of product. They're gonna run a sale. I can't say it publicly because it's going to be a really good sale. But the tins are gonna be there. They're gonna have the Covert Intent tins. So if you need, pick those up. Let them know in advance if you need more than 4. I guess if you need more than 4, but they're gonna be there. The Ryu tins are there. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, man. I'm just once the kit gets here in town, I will be much happier. Once the kit is here, because that's the first thing I worry about is that. So, but yeah, I'm excited, and I'm gonna get to play because Ryan Pham has said that I'm not needed. He hasn't said that I'm needed, so it means I'm not needed. So I'm gonna play. So yeah,
nice.
Yes, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna Cola-Con Moonset everyone. I don't care. And I think it's a lot of us here in town are taking that mentality. It's like, you know what? Let's give you 7 rounds. Let's play some fast shit and just beat the shit out of people. And then if we win or lose 20 minutes, we have to go hang out and do fun shit. So, yeah, there's gonna be a stream. So don't ask people out on the internet.
People already have been. So
what? Are you serious? Why are they asking?
Yeah. I don't know.
I
just saw it on Facebook.
I stream my fucking locals. So why are they asking this shit? But yeah, so thoughts on the Rockford PTC? Let's go with Dave because he is the guest. So Dave, your thoughts?
I mean, like I said before the show, I'm kind of bummed out. I'm going to miss it. Logistically, it didn't. I thought I was going to be able to do it, and then some stuff came up, and then Gen Con got confirmed for me, and I just can't do both events at the same time. I just can't take enough time off work to do it.
Have you been to a Rockford event before?
No. Mm-mm. I haven't traveled for a lot of PTCs over the last few years, other than within the Southeast. It just hasn't happened. Anyway, yeah, I think the meta's in a pretty good place for it. There's a lot of really interesting stuff that's kind of kicking around our locals, which is pretty fun. Mm-hmm. And the powerhouses from the last major are all still kind of good. Seventh Cross really didn't change anything that drastically.
Very true.
So other than just adding a couple other contenders in. So yeah, I think it'll be a fun event. I'm looking forward to seeing the results from it and, seeing who does well.
Hopefully me.
Hopefully everybody on this podcast here, seriously.
Yeah, hopefully.
So.
Yep.
Hopefully I'm there.
Hopefully Rob's there. That's the first thing. We gotta get Rob here first. Get Rob here first. Yeah.
Yeah, we've locally we've done a good bit of experimentation with Seventh Cross in our locals, and there's a couple standout characters that are really good, but it's kind of the ones that everybody thought were going to be really good. And
I don't know if everyone thought Janet was going to be really good. I thought they were I feel like the sort of evaluation of her was she's interesting and the R is pretty good, and we'll sort of see because the stacking her seemed pretty worthless. So it's just kind of
stacking her just improves her R, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes her
it's just
clock that much faster.
The abilities on the 2.R are pretty meaningless.
They're whatever. Yeah, they're not amazing or anything, but they'll win you 1 game out of 10 sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is really good.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. The standouts that we've kind of found were her. Turnaloose has been a pretty consistently solid performer for us. Joffrey's been better than anticipated, which has been kind of cool.
I think he's interesting. He's Quick Man, but probably better.
He's way better.
Yeah.
When he's stacked, he's gross.
Oh, that's very true.
I can
Yeah.
believe that.
Getting him stacked is the tricky part, but even if you have to like hard cast it and do it, it's still good.
Mhm.
We've had one guy that's been repping like every single symbol of Salinka over the last couple of weeks, and has been doing some interesting things with her. I think she's like mid-tier as far as the 7th Cross characters go, but she can do some impressive shit once she's kind of like good and ready. But her clock is just a little bit slow.
Yep,
I think.
I agree.
But,
I agree.
yeah,
with that.
she's cool though. Like she's definitely a cool character. Like Eugenia is like horrible.
Sorry,
It
Rob.
breaks my heart to say it because she's super cool, but we just like she's so much extra work.
Yeah.
JJ built a meme Eugenia deck. It is actually really scary. It's a Chaos Eugenia deck because she's one of the only characters in Chaos that checks on her character card.
Yeah.
So he takes advantage of making a ton of checks with her foundations and then the other cards in Chaos. It's a momentum-based deck, and then it just uses Firefly and the attack at the end of set for 7th Cross and burns your opponent to death.
Okay. Like yeah,
I got the deck.
Like, that's about the best thing that I found to do with her too. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna jam 4 Firefly Gunners and hope it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been rough to crack. That character is a headache. And yeah, like I said, that's kind of been our assessment of 7th Cross. So I think any of those characters that I mentioned can make a pretty deep run for Rockford and do well. So yeah,
I mean, I think they have so far, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
You forgot about the champ characters that are going to be in this event.
Oh,
that's
right.
right. It's the okay. So like they were legal
is
for.
This the first? Yeah, this is the first event the new batch is legal, right?
No, they were legal for Sacramento, but nobody had them.
Nobody
had this is the
I didn't
first.
have mine yet.
The champs didn't have them.
The champs didn't.
I don't know
have
if
them,
we got
sitting in the mail.
Yeah. No, I think Garrett's coming, Tim's coming, Barrett's coming. Yeah, those are the three.
Do you know which Tim Keefe is playing? Is it the Tim?
No, I don't know. I don't even know if Tim knows because he's been deep diving into Final Fantasy 14 since the expansion came out. So
that's good. Yeah.
you know,
I know which one I would.
I'm about to give him a call though and see which one he's not playing because I would love to play his character.
his characters are pretty good. Yeah, I know that Phil's coming, so we'll have some beers. I know some beers will be there. There's rumors of if you could have gotten a hold of Ryan McClain, Chris Pratt, or Brandon Jones last week, they could have shipped you Fiddlesticks in time. So, because I know I'm gonna have some for the event if it doesn't get lost in Chicago, because that could happen. So, you know. But yeah, I know none of the Omaha guys are coming, so that one won't be there.
There will be some UK champ card there.
Will there now?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you were supposed to say anything about it though. So yeah.
No. It's all fair game, and like it was just a deal that was made, and I just know how it's happening. But I'm telling you that
I was talking to the guy who actually made the card, and he said that no one was supposed to know about it. So I wonder who told you. So yeah. But anywho. Top 16 is going to get a special prize this year at this event.
Chris is like, I knew about this, but no one was supposed to know.
That's not what I was told.
Oh, no. Okay, so top 16 is going to get something.
Coordinated.
Top 16 is going to get a special prize from the UK guys. So, and that's all I'm going to leave it at. Top 16 gets something really cool. So
it's a big
that's not what I was talking about.
Oh.
I was talking about in the tournament.
Oh.
People will be playing them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Get Chris just giving it all away.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fine.
I don't care about the prizes. You can do whatever you want with the prizes. Yeah. I know that somebody will be playing UK cards in the tournament.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, I know of a couple people who are going to be too. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wonder if Kevin's going to play Broberg too.
Oh, that's right. Broberg. Oh, yeah, that's right. Broberg's going to be here, and he can have his character card too. It could just be champcard.deck wins Rockford.
Nixon Crew's coming over, so he'll have his.
Oh, Nixon is coming?
I think so. I thought so.
I thought he wasn't. I was told it was honeymoon weekend and they couldn't go. So yeah.
Well, regardless, people from Omaha will have their cards.
There you go. Whatever.
Like,
yeah, super exciting. But yeah, I'm still thinking the MK Bebop killers are still going to be viable. I don't think they lost anything. You know, they got stronger with Soul Calibur and the last set, which I don't think added a whole lot to those characters, like Kolokan or Goro or anything like that. So,
I think they're all about where they were before. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been testing, like a lot of us. We've kind of drifted away from the 7th Cross characters because they're just not. I don't know. They seem to be kind of, especially for turn loose, I guess, a little too much work. In a way, even with Janet, you kind of need to get her stacked a bit, just to.
I know, it's great. That's exactly.
How many Zolts are going to be there?
I know of a Zolt.
Work for your wins.
Yeah. True. But
we can get some more characters like
I know of a guy who's thinking about playing Test Your Might Goro that plays Test Your Might in Brutality and Missile Launcher, and he just wants to meme people to death. So he might have memed Trent this weekend.
Meme himself to death.
Yeah, he probably will.
We'll see him at 1 and 6. It'll be.
Oh yeah. Well, it is my newest player, so I don't know if how well he's going to do. So, but yeah, he's excited for it. His Goro deck's a lot of fun to play.
He's doing a Shokin grab because it gets big really early.
Yeah, he plays that too.
Okay.
Yeah, there may be a Devora sighting. There may be a Sophie sighting from Rockford. We had
these all these decks that you've been putting on the channel.
Oh yeah, they come out later. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now a lot of these decks won't come out till like later, but like my Kolokan deck, I don't give a crap. It's Brad's deck with a couple tweaks to it, so.
It's good deck.
Yeah, that deck is fantastic, and I can't wait for Spirit Shotgun to come out so I can go back to playing Life. So, but anywho, that's for later in the show. Yeah, Barrett, your thoughts?
It's gonna be good because I'll be there, coming out of retirement. Since my defeat by Dave and my rise to glory afterwards.
Well done, sir. Well done.
So I don't expect to do incredibly well. I've really just been practicing and getting the Kansas City playgroup building up. So I haven't really been focusing on like competitive play. So I'm bringing a few decks. We're gonna try. I'll kind of decide last minute which one I decide to play, or maybe playing with you guys at your place, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my character card. I'm bringing my character. I'm building a deck that I have with my character card just to mess around with people, see the kind of ideas that I had going on. So I'm really just going to have fun. I'm going to try and get my champ card into people's hands, the people that are interested. Just have a good time. And it's my sponsorship obligation to show up to events. So.
Yes, it is. It is.
So I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be great to see a bunch of people. And I definitely haven't seen them since Nationals. So.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great regardless of how big it is. And I agree that I think the meta is in a really cool place right now where so many of these more recent sets, characters among all of them matter, and they all do something different. And so we can see a little bit of everything. So I think it's going to be like you can show up with a Mad Pro deck and still work just fine with him. Yeah. But even though feels like people haven't touched him in forever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of I feel like people got sick of the Bebop characters, to be honest.
That might be it too. Like, that actually kind of seems to be like what happened. Is like Word Spike 1 Go. I think just a lot of people got sick of playing them and wanted to play the new stuff. But there's no reason why those characters can't see play nowadays.
Yeah.
People love new hotness, man. That's just kind of how card games go. So,
I mean,
I'm right there with them. So, yeah.
I mean, it's that, and it's also one of those things where it's like they are not, the sort of pillars that they were. Like just you can play other characters and not just go, I'm gonna lose if I play against like Bebop stuff.
Yeah, I mean we're so far removed from like Bebop taking the meta over by storm. Like we're at a pretty good point at this point, honestly. So
yeah, and like I said, I think some of it is just sort of like I feel like a lot of those characters just like left a bad taste in people's mouth. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine.
I think you're right though. I think it's a combination of that. People just kind of burned out on playing them. So
I mean, there's a bunch of them that are still really. I think Vicious is still really good. Spike 1 is still really good. Mad Pro hasn't changed. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's still perfectly viable from the Jet still hasn't won any.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's weird, right?
It's one of those things too. Not only is it that like all these newer characters work and you can play them to some competitive viability. I think the other cool thing too is more so like wanting to play the cards that are going to rotate real soon. So now we have Yu Yu Hakusho and a date of when it releases. Darkstalker cards are leaving, and that means the only Darkstalker characters and/or cards we'll have is from Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers. And so like this is one of the last events where you can like character stack Jenna if you really wanted to, like stuff like that, or just in general, like there's some good decent cards. Like I love Focused and Patient, and that's gonna leave after this set comes out. So stuff like that. I think a lot of people want to play those cards because they don't suck, but they're also gonna be leaving soon. So.
Yeah.
So you tell me someone's gonna take Felicia for one more
one more ride. Yeah.
And they're gonna square off against Tester Mike Goro in round 7.
You know, and then like Not Over Yet's gonna be leaving, and it's just gonna be a weird. It's some decks are really gonna change after that comes out, which is kind of odd.
That card leaving is big.
Yeah.
My deck sucks now.
Yeah, it does. Oh, that's great.
Oh man, you just gotta play fair.
Oh darn, play fair.
You're right. Shucks.
Just run 4 Chris Blatt now. All right.
Yeah, that's
I already was.
Well, I can't help you.
So Ryan Fam's gonna be coming in Friday morning. I think everyone's actually gonna be to my house, except for Barrett. I believe will be here before.
No, I'm actually carpooling with JJ. I will be there around 4ish.
Oh, cool. Everyone's gonna be here by like 11 in the morning. So we'll be.
Yeah, just me.
Yeah, just you. Yeah. So and hopefully Rob will be there with his versus decks in tow, so he'd be like, let's play some games, Chris. And I'll be like, I don't want to lose. I have to go set up the shop. But anywho, so everyone's going to pretty much come in Friday. I don't know what's happening. I think we're going to try to do a local or some free, just games over at the shop and get the shop ready and just hang out. Should be a good time. Like, I know Rob doesn't have a lot of thoughts because he's hoping he can show up.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, yeah. My thoughts are, hopefully I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. Should be, like, it's nuts.
I guess anyone who's on the fence, like, last minute, you know, if you're in driving distance, like, definitely go.
You're gonna, I think this will be the one, like, I don't know.
Even if you think you're going to do terrible, like, just go. Like, there's going to be so many people there. Like, you'll meet a bunch of people. You'll get an opportunity to get a bunch of the champ cards. Like, some of them, like, you know, people might want something for. Garrett is probably literally just going to hand them out to, like, every single person who walks up to him, because that's usually what he does.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, playing in a tournament like that, like, I mean, it's something like if you're new and you go to something like this and you go, like, you know, like 3-4, like, that's not bad.
No.
You know, like, you're definitely going to, like, learn some stuff. Like, you'll, you know, have some good matchups. You'll have some bad matchups. Like, you know, and you'll have some experience to, like, play better next time, and then, you know, you might be like 4-3 or like 5-2 on the bubble. So
I've heard a couple other talk shows, podcasts say like this is basically a major in a way, because we're gonna have so many people, we're gonna have so many rounds. It's just going to feel like a major, but with no cardboard, which makes me sad. Which brings me to my next point. If I hit 80 people, Jasco, I want a cardboard event.
Nah, that's not how that works.
I know it doesn't, but I can at least ask, right? I can at least ask. I think I'm within my realm to ask. But no, I've been campaigning, I guess, promoting this for like, usually I do like 6 months in advance, and then, you know, we had a whole fiasco with the store. Didn't believe me. I'd hit like this many people, and I was like, okay, I'll get you names. So I think we're like at 64, 65. Danielle, Tyler just sent me a list of like 5 or 6 other people that are coming that are on the list. So we're definitely hitting 70 something. I don't see why not. And
What are you gonna do when you have 75 people in a 72-man kit?
I guess the store will just supply stuff, and it doesn't really matter. You know, whatevs.
Because that way it factors into promos that are handed out.
Yeah.
And packs that are handed out, right?
Yeah. I assume that Ryan. I've been in contact with Ryan. I told him you may want to bring some extra just in case we do hit over 72. Which, Jesus, I don't know, man.
I gotta say, I'm pretty sure if people are only getting 6 copies of Immortal Knowledge instead of 7,
I'm a kill
They'll be
switch.
okay.
Your hands are
They're
being
probably
thrown.
gonna be fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get the promo changed. It didn't work. So, but yeah, I even tried to get like
that the former PTC promos as potential prize support for the side events. That's pretty good stuff.
yeah, that's still cool because like you'll still get barriers, dodges. I've been told we're gonna get a lot of cool stuff with that for top cuts for the teams thing. So that would be pretty.
So just
sick.
scrub out.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you could go and just win top cuts in 20 minutes, I guess, if you're playing like a fast deck or whatever. You know,
I gotta wait on everybody else. Like everyone had to wait on me.
Oh man, I don't know if we want to deal with that.
it's going to be like Ashley, right?
Oh
Finish every
gosh,
round quick and just sit around and wait.
for like 3 or 4 hours and miss a Cirque du Soleil show and just be mad. Yeah, and take it out on my opponent. There's so logistics where the store is at. There's like a McDonald's, a couple like fast food places. There's a Chinese place down the strip mall that everyone usually just goes to because it's within walking distance. There's a gym next door if you want to go work off that Chinese food. It's a Planet Fitness, so if you have a black card, you can get in. I don't know, whatever. There's a liquor store 2 doors down, so if you feel like getting O2 wasted, you can go get O2 wasted. Then it's fine.
Man, this
dude.
place has everything.
And then hey man, it's just in a really weird spot. It just is. Next door is to a vape shop, so then there's a gambling place right next to that, next to the gym. Just
Gambling is legal in Illinois.
yeah, video gaming. Yeah, now we just got approved for like 6 casinos, and Rockford's getting a casino in the next couple years. So yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, if you got a
we'll bring
casino,
Thomas
you can have a
Rock
major,
there,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be I don't know what else to say other than it's gonna be an awesome time, and I think you're gonna regret it if you can't make it because it's gonna be.
Can confirm.
It's going to be fantastic and awesome. And when you guys see things that are like, oh man, that, and I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed we couldn't have a Yu Hakusho show pre-release, but I guess that was not meant to be.
I mean,
so
yeah. But at least we got some previews.
we got some previews. Yeah. So I guess that segues.
Good segue.
So I'm going to pull up the newest guy who just came out as of Tuesday. We got Suzaku. 7 hand size, 20 health, air, evil, order, which is a kind of weird symbol spread. R, after you block with a card named Suzaku, add it to your staging area and gain 3 vitality. E, your gauge attack gets plus X speed or X damage. X equals the number of character cards in your staging area. First enhance, discard 3 attached characters. This attack gets plus 7 speed and 7 damage. Oh boy. I'm kind of glad Ophidiophobia is gone because this motherfucker would just block everything and gain health and not take damage. So
I mean, there's still immortality on 2 symbols.
fuck, you're right. God damn it.
Yeah. I was gonna say you could definitely still do that.
Yes, you can. Yes. But yeah, first
At
thoughts
least
on
he
it?
doesn't draw a card when he stacks.
That's true.
Gemini man.
But like,
You did.
you know, I guess he seems like I don't know, he's not as powerful as Turn Loose, but he's kind of in the same vein in a way where he just wants to pump damage or speed and just wants to beat your face in real fast. But
I mean, we'll have to see. I think the biggest thing that's going to hold him back is the fact that it says your gauge attack gets plus X or plus X.
oh, true. True.
Like if he pumped anything, like he could do all kinds of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I will say the cool thing too, though, is like because he says gauge attack, obviously he's gonna be super reliant on them. And one of gauge attack's biggest weaknesses is either you give it a little bit of DR and it doesn't do what you want it to do anymore, or it's too easy to block. And his second ability does fix those kind of problems.
Sure.
Where if they DR it by 1, you can give it the free damage just by your own character. Or if you want to make it faster, you can give it a little bit more speed. So
So anytime you get a character that just straight up throws free stats on things, like you have to examine them from a competitive standpoint, right? And he just straight up throws free stats on things. That's pretty damn good. He is very like if you squint hard enough, he's Gemini Man, but not really. But the fact that he shares 2 symbols with Turnaloose's support is really good. Turnaloose has some of the better gauge attacks that were in 7th Cross, so like that's compelling. Like lightning, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean the reversals. I mean both of them really. Like the reversals are both pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how good his big reversal is going to be in Suzaku.
That's true. I mean, especially because he clears. Like if you're blocking with the character, it clears anyway. So
yeah. So I don't know how great that is, but his other one's really good. So
yeah, well, so not only you get the Turnaloose support under air and evil, like you're saying, but under air, then you also get the Remoreless support, which also has to do with characters in card pool, which he doesn't necessarily do, but then Remoreless benefits from like picking things up based off the number of attached characters, and still has a decent gauge attacks. Like I love Irradiate a lot.
Irradiate's pretty good.
Yeah, so like
Irradiate's really good.
So like having access to that kind of card plus this character. Has access to like Mad Bro symbols under evil. So and as we'll see when we get to attacks, like or foundations as well, putting characters in discard piles is actually really easy in this character. Instead of and so like the gauge is not meant to necessarily always pick them from your deck. It's meant to pick them out of your discard pile.
Sure.
Or like you feed them to your discard pile, and then that means you only have to grab the ones for your deck. So I think that's going to be really good to help out this character. And I think Order is the only weird symbol, right? Because Order, even having messed around with Joffrey a bunch, Order doesn't do the character stacking thing very well. So like Joffrey's not going to get you much help here.
Because Taisei and Joffrey had Order in that set, right?
And Taisei doesn't do it very well either.
To be fair, like having a bunch more like Order gauge attacks may help Taisei though.
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, any of the characters, once we start digging into support, like any of the kind of gauge reliant characters, some of these cards are really good in stacked up dudes. There's some spice here.
All right, so let's move to Lightning Shot then. 4 difficulty 3 check +1 high block, 4 mid 4 charge. It's a charge attack for Guile.
Dude, he's getting Guile 2 now when we get that new Street Fighter stuff.
We're stopping right there. We got Guile 2 confirmed, everybody.
I was like, we just need to spam that on every poll they put up where they're like, what character do you want to see next? It's like Guile 2.
Guile 2 dot. Gauge 3 ranged. Our card pool, after your opponent readies 1 or more foundations due to their effect, flip one of them. This attack gets stun X. X equals the number of character cards in your staging area and discard pile. Maximum of 3. So
that maximum.
The maximum 3. Oh well.
How unfair.
So kind of like this is kind of Wandering Pirate hate in a way. And what else? What Initiate Launch hate?
Sense of Morals. Pirate, like. Sure. There's actually quite a few. Like it's a stun card that actually has hate against Sense of Morals, which is actually very new, actually. So that itself is good, and it's just specifically while it's in the card pool, so you can do it later, and your opponent still can't use Sense of Morals to ready the cards that were committed.
Correct.
So that itself, I think, is gonna be really good. The limitation on the stun to me kind of reminds me of like
the Quick Burst or whatever.
Jacked one.
The Jacked
one. Which is fine. The fact that it has a good block, its stats are fair.
I mean, giving a 4-diff like stun 3 for like free.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking about it in Taisei. It's just like, or not Taisei, Turnaloose. It's just like, it's free.
Yeah, it's free. It's pretty free.
I look at this card, and Mega Man 3 Dot's already really close to being like an actual really good competitive character because he's a pseudo 7 hand size. This is a ranged Order attack. So range synergy with him specifically using if you want to use Jet Rush adapter and stuff like that, and it gets stunned, which Order is already really good about. That's really out there, but like I know a lot of people have been looking at Mega Man 3 recently, and so he's not terrible.
True.
One of the things for this is like, and this is the first gauge attack we've seen where the gauge rating is not equal to the printed damage.
Yeah, that's actually pretty big.
And so this is something where if there was a character that could make this a throw and give it 1
Plus
damage somehow. I mean, 4, sure, but
4 is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
No, like as a guy who has played a shitload of air Turnaloose, like I'm pretty excited to test out this card in him. One of the problems you run into with him, with kind of the current like air gauge lineup that you're not necessarily locked into, but usually
do you
really
want
to run.
air ranged attacks there, Dave? Is that what you're
Yeah, well, it's not even the range. Like the range is fine. Yeah, you can play with what's his name support with that. But, what's his name?
Redeemed Rogue. There we go.
Yeah,
Oh,
Redeemed Rogue
Kung
stuff. Like, sure, that's great. Like, I don't care about that. I care about like stun 3 as your lead off as turn loose on turn 2 into like Iron Knuckle.
Yeah, you're dead.
Pretty hard to deal
Yeah,
with.
you're dead. Yeah.
So like,
I mean, you can do it under Evil 2 for
yeah,
cash.
for sure. So you.
Why are you talking about this?
Yeah, like stun 3 into cats, like kill you off of evil is also pretty.
I'll be honest, like I've been playing that deck a lot, and there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, man, I really wish that I had like some like decent stun.
Hey, here it is.
But I really don't want to run the one check on Coffee Samba, and it's just like, oh well, thanks.
Yeah. There you go.
Here's
You gotta
a pretty reliable
stuff.
stun 3
Cool.
that you can turn into a grab, and even if your opponent throws a little bit of DR at it, like you can probably crank it to 6 damage pretty easily.
And like on the card, it basically has like hate for a lot of the sort of like stun hate now, which is I'll just re-ready everything, and it's like, okay.
It's like, sure.
It's like, all right, fine. I'll flip everything, which I'm going to be flipping stuff anyway. So sure, go ahead.
The nice thing about this thing is hate too is like as a block, being able to shut down God of Thunder nonsense when your opponent's on offense is pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. So I really like this card. This card's neat.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah. All right, next. Lightning Torture. I got them in order, so I can just read them. Lightning Torture, 4 difficulty, 3 check, no block, 2 mid 4, charge for Guile, gauge 4, throw. E, if there are at least 2 character cards in your staging area or discard pile, this attack gets 3 damage. Does Turn Loose need more free damage?
No, Turn Loose doesn't need more of this.
He doesn't need any of this.
Sure.
What is this craziness?
You don't have to use either of his E's. You can just get a 2-dot and let's go.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's like obviously this is decent in Turn Loose, right? Like no block on it is kind of iffy for him, honestly, because
it's really good
kind of fragile.
though.
Yeah, it's fine it's good for Taisei. That's true.
Yeah.
How good is this in Suzaku? I think is the bigger question. Yeah. Right.
Well, I think obviously the point is that because he has a throw that also has a gauge, is you either get to use the second ability, which is 2 characters in your staging card, or it says discard pile. Never mind. So I think the biggest perk of this is that this actually ends up a kill card in Suzaku.
Yeah.
Because he can give this 7/7, and they hit the discard pile, and so it still gets the 3 damage, and so then you just have a really strong throw.
Yeah,
and
gross throw.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good. So,
and
I see your spirit shotgun.
And I raise you my common 4-diff.
Yeah, here you go.
To me, this reminds me a lot of like almost similar power levels like ISSP grapple for Jet, and so I think this is going to do the same thing in him just because of what he does with it, and is obviously synergizes with them.
Sure.
Turn Loose can obviously do crazy things with this at the beginning of the game, but obviously Turn Loose doesn't really care as much later on. But it is a second throw that Turn Loose can throw on a turn because he can only give it once.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things too where like the non-block is big.
Sure.
Any attack that doesn't have a block is something that you're just sort of like, all right, like
I
don't want to see like 3 of these like in my hand.
Especially as a 7-hander.
Yeah. So
when I'm playing Kolakon and I draw Guilt Seekers into my hand, and I don't really feel like attacking with all 3 of them. I'm like, oh shit, it's like. Good thing I got 30.
That is some first world problem you're throwing at.
I know. It's like good thing I got 30 health, so oh well. But yeah, that's just first world problems. So, but yeah, again,
card just seems good.
It's really good in Guile because it's a charge throw.
Stop trying to make Guile happen. It's not going to happen.
Trust me, when we get Guile 2, he's happening.
It's gonna happen.
Tag me
as someone who played Guile in an event this year, my advice is don't.
Oh, I mean, like, okay, so like you could play him like on the locals and stuff like that. I think he's viable. I think he's fun. He's a good deck for locals. So whatever.
Good is like his only viable solo right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. Prism Storm of Torment. This is his.
Hey,
ultra
I
rare.
didn't play Legacy, but this static reminds me of a card that I've heard.
It does.
7 difficulty.
This is
Seventh
seventh.
bill of punishment.
Seven
bill, the +1 low.
difficulty. 3 check. +1 low block. 7 high 7. Ally. Deadlock stun 7. Gauge 7 ranged. Enough keywords, everyone?
Dude,
I don't think so.
So if you try to play this and your opponent has like that katana card, do you just die? Where they just burn you?
Oh yeah, for 14? Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you just die. If this is the 7th card you attempt to play this turn, it passes and gets 7 speed. No check necessary. Cool. Alright, neat. E. Add all character cards that share a name with your starting character from your discard pile to your staging area.
Sure.
Okay.
You know what the worst thing about this card is? It's not a charge.
So the biggest things I see on this character, or on this card, is with this specific card, any character that has these 3 symbols that wants to character stack now can play a mill deck and do something with it. What that means is Mad Perot under Evil, if he can find all 3 into his discard pile, add them all in. This now not only becomes, or not only gets all those stats, it's now unblockable.
Sure.
So that
I mean, you can like play it first and it can be unblockable. You know,
exactly.
You don't have to wait until like the 7th.
Yeah.
But, I mean, also the Deadlock Stun 7 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also see this card. It has air on it, and another obviously big thing that air does is kicking cards from the card pool. And evil. So Taki is a character that likes to keep things one thing in the card pool. Eventually, if you just get this to be the 7th thing and it just passes automatically, sounds pretty good. We have things like Covert Intent or whatever that is, and it kicks cards from your card pool and draws you more stuff. If this is the 7th one, you get it for free, and it's 14 high for 7. Like, this card has a lot of potential. It just sucks really early on.
Yeah.
Because it's a 7 diff, and so you're only going to be blocking with it.
I don't think it even necessarily sucks that early on in a character that wants to stack.
True.
Right? Like if you're playing a deck that can mill itself a bunch, and you want to have a way to just auto stat characters, like playing this on a 7 diff isn't that much worse than hard checking a 6 to just play a character raw to stack them, right? And it's still a 7 high for 7 with a +1 low. Like, I don't think it's as bad early on as advertised here. I don't think it's great early on, but I want the turn 1 fucking Dreamland into play my entire hand into 14 high for 7 and then probably stack a character because I probably checked one. Like, I want that.
I want pretty doable.
That's some dirt. So
that's very dirty. It's very dirty.
And build all the cards you play.
Yeah. And build all of those cards. That's hype. So So ironically enough, there was a legacy card that shared half of the name with the character support that this is part of, called Kasumi Suzaku, that basically let you do that. Which is build out your entire hand turn 1 and then chuck like 4 high for 10s at people. So this is very much shades of that, as well as obviously shades of 8th Bill of Punishment, which did a very similar thing in Legacy and was a throw, not a 14 high for 7. Possible stun 7.
Yeesh. Gross.
Yeah. I think this card's super cool. I'm excited to test it out. I'm excited for a +1 low block with a 3 check and air. That's actually like legit hype. So yeah. So I'm pretty excited to test this card out and see how it actually runs.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Moving on. Storm of Torment. 5 it's a 5 difficulty 3 check, +2 mid block, 5 mid 5, charge, desperation 4, gauge 4, safe. E, discard 1 momentum. Search your deck for 1 character card that shares a name with your starting character and add it to your hand or staging area. E, if there are at least 2 character cards in your staging area or discard pile, discard its attack after it resolves.
Gross.
We've got some Meki Maru tactics here,
kids. That's a lot of stuff.
It does a lot.
This is a really big setup card.
It is a rare, by the way. It's his rare attack.
As Rob has pointed out as well, its gauge rating is lower than its actual printed damage. So, yeah, I like this card a lot. It just screams setup attack, right? You can think of 1,000 different characters right now that want to do character stacking and things with like fatality, and a character like Dijonette under Evil that already gets the momentum at the beginning of the game. Essentially, this card says good. Immediately stack as a 2-dot. It has synergy later on because it has Desperation 4, so you can play it later and then get synergy with it as well. Mm-hmm. It's a 5-min for 5 base. And then it leaves after you're done with it, after you've used the first ability.
Scorpion 2-dot now can be stacked super easy for the momentum.
And it has Desperation.
And you can get 10. Yeah, you can get 6 damage on it. Terrible. Oh my god! Okay. The dream, the meme is alive, everybody.
It has save, so you're not gonna get punished for it.
Mm-hmm.
It just screams setup, and you're right. In certain characters, this is just incredibly good for them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the trickiest parts with gauge-based characters that I've seen with the 7th Cross guys is like if your game plan doesn't execute where you need it to and you can't get them stacked through gauge, sometimes you can run into trouble. Yeah. And this circumvents that on symbols that really didn't have a way to do it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I think this card's like
this actually is probably really good for whoever you're Jeffrey too, right?
Yeah,
like,
yes, absolutely.
Really good. Okay.
Yeah.
So Order has enough ways to get momentum, or obviously, and the problem with Joffrey is that you still need to be able to kill people with like actual damaging attacks, and so obviously your opponent's going to worry about blocking those ones, and so if you play a decent gauge attack like this, or you already have the momentum from when you did that earlier, this gets you the Joffrey 2 that you need to start doing really good things, and it then leaves like we're already talking about. So like once it leaves, you can just play the rest of your turn.
I guess the question is, so like take this with Storm of Torment and compare it to Joffrey's like Ultra Rare. Was it like Invaluable Judgment or something? Yeah. It's like, wouldn't you run this like 10 times out of 10?
Oh yeah. I don't think Judgment even has a block on it, right?
It's like 5
Judgment
for 5. Like
Judgment has its perks, like it really does. Like because freezing, just with Judgment, freezing at least 2 cards with it is incredibly valuable, and it still leaves, and your opponent doesn't really want to eat it necessarily. But like I agree, like as a 5
you can run both, of course, but
yeah.
So it's sort of interesting. Like I guess like feels like a lot of this stuff, like sort of the gauge support, is pretty helpful for like Jeffrey and like Taisei, and then also for like Turn Loose, who didn't need help. But I mean, I guess. It's sort
Most of this is good for Remulus.
Remulus as well.
Also.
Yeah, true.
The 7 dips a little rough for her because
you're never gonna play that for free in her.
Actually, I mean, because you get to cycle and draw cards from playing the characters.
You
cycle
at least characters. That's so much setup, though. And, well, but if you're picking it up and replaying it, like that every time you play the character is another card that you played. So.
Yeah,
and then you can replace itself by drawing.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not playing the Ultra Rare in anything but a 7-hander, so I can just spam my hand out and play it at the end. But no, I'll echo everything everybody just said about Storm of Torment. I think this card's good. This card's gonna like compete for spots in the 5-diff slot in Turnaloose, which is already pretty crowded. And that's a strong statement because the 2 cards that are in there right now in Irradiate and Netherstorm are both nuts.
Yeah.
And this card's like right there. This is also an awesome sideboard card for particular matchups too. If you're playing a gauge deck that plays against a ton of damage reduction or and like anything along those lines, just being able to say, you know what, fuck you, I've got a momentum. I'm going to play this card, and unless you have an E-cancel, I'm going to get stacked, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, that's really, really good. This card's really interesting. I don't think it's a 4 of in anyone, honestly, but it's like the spiciest 2 of.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to test this card out. So, and it's really good in Suzaku also.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Yes, it is a 2 for 1.
You know who it is also? I mean, if we're talking about like Gemini Man 2, like.
Oh yeah, he can multiple it. Yeah.
Well, you can discard a momentum, get 2, play the E, so it'll discard after resolves, and then give it multiple and pay it with the one that you got.
Guys, obviously the only thing we're multiplying is the Ultra Rare.
Yeah,
7-9%.
I want the 7-9%.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Swinging it.
Whatever.
And it pays for itself because you would need one Gemini Man 2 in your discard pile, and you already have a multiple cost.
There you go.
All right, so moving on to his foundations. Bearer of the Mackay Whistle. It's a 0 difficulty, 6 check, +2 mid. Ally for your Dr. Wily 2 dots.
Why are we giving more spam 6 checks to evil?
I don't know. E-remove, add 1 card from your opponent's... E-remove, add 1 card from your opponent's removed from game pile to the top of their deck. E-flip, your attack gets -2 to its gauge rating. You may search your deck for 1 character card and add it to your discard pile. So that's pretty neat. That gives gives those characters, it kind of thins their deck out a bit, and then it also gives you an easier gauge rating. So, you know.
Is this the first tech sphere counter I've ever seen?
Yeah, this is actually a counter to Tech Sphere. Which is
Tech sphere counter, Kin 2 that counter.
Yeah.
This hits some stuff.
On a spam foundation with a 6 check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Order's getting it. I don't know. I guess Order needed some spam, so I don't know if it's that great, but it's still. I don't know if Order needed really this type of spam, but it's spam, so whatever. It's a 6 check, I guess.
I don't think this helps most Order characters that like are relevant right now, honestly. But he's not relevant.
Hey man, it makes that Guile 2 dot relevant.
They're just actively bad. So, but like for Evil and Air, like flip -2 to gauge rating is good enough.
Yeah.
And thinning your deck out in a deck that's already probably wanting to run like right at 60 or right at like just above 60, maybe in Dijonet's case, that's powerful. Like thinning basically garbage out of your deck so you can pick it back up and stack it with presumably the gauge attack you just played. Like that's not bad. And it's an 06 with a +2 mid. Like this card's stats are nuts. Yeah. So.
Air Heidi loves this because it just says character card. You can play this card and then pick it up with Section 13.
Oh, that's gross.
No attack.
Boat Tucker's gonna be so happy.
Yeah, dude. Gauge, one attack gauge Heidi is gonna work.
No, it's not. But
why not? We still have Dreamlands.
Being able to fish characters in your discard pile for her is pretty gross. So that's actually pretty sweet. Yeah, this card's fine. Like it's not a game breaker or anything, but yeah, it'll see a little bit of play, I think. So
the other thing too is like that remove to like add a card. I mean, if they have like an RFG like 1 check or 2 check, and you're just like, and they don't have a way to get it off the top of their deck, you're just like, all right, well, you're not blocking this. Yeah. Or if you are blocking this, like it's gonna be real hard.
Yeah. So this card will accidentally win you games sometimes.
Does covert remove? The covert intent, does that remove?
I don't know.
I don't.
Like
all the other cards, I don't think so. I think
no. Does covert's cost to play it remove itself so that your opponent will have a 1 check if they play covert?
I don't know.
I don't know offhand. I'm not.
All right, I don't think it's on Ultra yet.
No, it's not on Ultra.
Let's go.
Next card. Crimson Sparrow. It's a 2 difficulty, 5 check, +2 low. Our card pool. After your attack deals damage, ready 1 foundation that has not been readied this combat. Discard 1 card. This attack gets +1 or -2 speed.
It's 2 low block.
It is a 2 low block. It's a 2 low block in Air and Evil and Order.
I don't dislike the first ability. Yeah. My problem is that Dave can maybe attest to this as well. I played Air under 2 characters now, and if there's one thing they do incredibly well right now, it's ready a ton of foundations.
Yeah.
And so you don't need this for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know, and I haven't seen anything in this that like adds it to your card pool. Like I don't know. This seems like a sort of a weird one. Like I don't know that R is like terribly helpful. But I mean, I guess it's because it's even your attack deals damage. So like, I don't know if it was this attack, like you could block with it. But yeah.
Or like on defense, you shove it in and then ready stuff for later. Like
this will be the rare that no one's gonna want to pull more than 4 of because this is a rare, and I think this is a pretty bad rare, personally.
This is a pretty bad rare.
Yeah. I mean the E is alright. I mean it's kind of like poolside. It just doesn't have like the game 2. And it's
Also not
two
playable while committed.
Yeah.
It's full set playable.
Yeah, it is.
It sure is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Sure.
I don't think this card really does enough to warrant a lot of like main deck play, honestly.
Like, if you need low blocks, maybe you put a couple on your sideboard.
No,
But
like,
Even then, like you'd
Is it
rather
better?
play like a crappy push to limit 0
Yeah.
diff for the 3 low block.
Oh, yeah,
like, I'd
true.
rather like actually.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
this card's just bad. So
I don't think it's like awful bad.
No,
I think it's just gonna have a hard time finding a home.
It's
Now,
just- it's just gonna be one of those
I
rares that
will
I'm gonna
say
pull
this.
10 of.
If there is a character off of these symbols, and I can't think of who it would be offhand, that just like I need a way to dump cards to do a thing, right? Like there are worse things than a effectively free +1/-2 speed.
Chop
Like,
free under order so you can give an attack 0 damage.
Sure. Yeah, like if you need to gut your hand for something, like maybe this is okay.
sure.
Yeah, this is going to be really niche. I think. I think this is going to have you're not going to see a ton of this card being played.
Yeah.
The only thing cool thing I would ever see in this card is like Zolt, and you play a bunch of multiples, and they don't block them. You get to ready a bunch of foundations.
Just ready all the things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't share any symbols with this, so you'd have to cheat it in.
I was going to say, how are you?
Yeah, I know,
Turn
right?
over.
Okay.
I mean, I've done it before. I play in my Zolt deck. I play Negative Stolen as a 2-of with Insect Puppeteer, and if it's my last attack for the turn, I just shove it in. I get it went to life.
It's just like fuck it, gain 10.
Yeah, that's not his life. I mean,
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, I know, but
it'll share with all your Zold attacks at least.
Yeah.
All right.
Next card.
Anyway, yeah.
The
we'll move
Leader of the Saintly Beasts. It is a 3 difficulty, 5 check, +2 high block, ally, F destroy, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may add 1 character or gauge card revealed this way to your hand and discard the rest. R, discard 1 momentum. After your opponent readies a foundation during the combat phase, your opponent shuffles it into their deck. Playable while committed. Wow, he doesn't want people readying
Oh, just
shit.
kind of like so it doesn't even get rid of the foundation. Oh.
No, it does.
yeah.
No, it
Oh,
does. They
no,
they tuck it.
No. I'm saying this foundation.
Oh, no,
It's
no,
all
this
discard
stays.
momentum and it stays there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't lose the foundation, so as long as you have momentum, you can just be like, you're readying stuff, it's gone. It's
Yeah.
gone. Like
That's pretty
okay.
cool, dude. This card's actually... This card's
This
another
card
rare.
reminds
He has
me
2
of,
rares.
88 miles per hour for for gauges, right?
Yeah.
It's
This
just
card
always-
reminds me of Sense of Morals. You know, like Sense of Morals was the answer for like Big Stun.
Oh.
This is just like the
no.
answer for
Sen-
Sense of Morals.
So,
Sense of Morals is free. This
I
is
know,
not
check.
free. That is a big
Yeah.
difference.
Why do you have to pick momentum? To
so
bounce?
Air Heidi just found a way to dig through like 20 cards of her deck to find characters.
Yeah, she doesn't care about the 3 diff.
So this is the thing. The only issue I have with this card, like in a vacuum, this card's actually pretty good. If you're playing like really any of these symbols and gauge
Does
in
this,
any
like, someone
way.
have a card like this too for text?
Yeah.
So we've seen variations of this type of card a lot, right? For that first form, and sometimes they're okay. A lot of times it's you play them thinking you're going to hit nothing but upside, and then you pop a 3 diff and you hit nothing,
Yeah.
and you're just real
Very
bummed
true.
out, and you cut it for
Yeah.
probably like
Anything.
high seas adventure. So that's like Air has a lot of really good 3 diffs right now, like a lot of really good 3 diffs to the point where it's very difficult to find space for like anything outside of maybe like 6 or 7 different ones. And that's honestly and same thing with Order, right? Like Order's got God of Thunder, Order's got Guile's Face, Order's got a bunch of really good other 3 diffs. Like I don't think this card's bad. I think this card is actually pretty good, but it's going to have a hard time fighting for spots with some of like the really, really either broken or strong pieces that already exist on these symbols.
Sure.
Do you think this is just something that you maybe? I mean, I guess I'm looking at maybe like somebody like I don't know, like a Raiden or like somebody who can basically generate a bunch of momentum as sort of like a sideboard card.
It's fine for sideboard, yeah, sure. Like if you're playing the Air Mirror, or if you're playing like any of these symbols against an Air deck, you just like cool, I'm going to jam 2 of these, and hopefully I have a stack of momentum somehow, and most of my opponent's relevant staging area is blank.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, unless they run the Vega throw, and then you're just real sad.
Yeah.
Like, I can see... Like, I could potentially see, like, Dijonette playing this as, like, a one-off, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Because, like, you play some gauge attacks, maybe, if you really want to. Like, I don't, most people aren't. But, like, if you're playing Evil, and so worst-case scenario, you maybe hit a character card off of it, which, sure, like I said, you don't really want to do that. But the fact that you do have that momentum in her, if you don't use it offensively, and so you kind of get away with it. But I agree. I just think it ends up getting cut.
So... Sorry, go on.
No, it's just not. I just don't think it's good enough. I think Suzaku is like the only character that actually just plays this.
Yeah. I think he actually probably runs a 3 or 4 of this card because being able to tutor up a character for having a +0 mid that you immediately stack on block, like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Other thing too is if you're playing air and you're looking for a character card instead of a gauge attack, you're just playing blueprints over this. Like,
yeah, very true.
Yeah, for sure.
But blueprint doesn't have a block though, right?
Suzaku probably plays both. Honestly,
it doesn't. It doesn't have a block, but it's like it's a flip instead of a destroy.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
It just you find it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is just a little more versatile than blueprints. It just does more. Plus 2 high is pretty solid too.
Yeah.
On a 5 diff,
Sure.
so or on a 5 control rather. Yeah,
Does
like I said,
ally
I don't
matter
think
at all?
no.
Dr. Wiley?
Not really.
I don't think it matters on him, right?
Dr. Wiley.
Dr. Wiley,
Sure.
man.
There you go. You're right.
No,
Chris.
it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't
It
matter.
matters for order at a 9.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
And I only know that because I played that deck. And
That's fair.
having more ally foundations or scratch even just ally cards says that you don't need an extra attack to combo for Leaping Action.
Oh, true.
That's fair.
The Zero Diff was allied too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Yep.
Which is really good for...
Yeah, I don't hate this card. Again, if I'm gonna play Suzaku, I'm probably jamming like 2 or 3 of this and testing it and seeing how it feels, and then making my assessment from there. But this is definitely one of those cards that like until you actually see it in play, until you see how much momentum your character can generate to fuel the bottom R, like it's going to be a little tougher to evaluate. Like it'll shine in certain matchups. Like if you're running heavy stun into Sensimorals and you have a way to generate a shitload of momentum, like this card's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I think it's fine. I just don't think it's like a jam it immediately auto include, even if you are playing a gauge character.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay.
What do we got next?
What are the symbols on Tim Keith's characters now?
Yeah, we're not
Which
talking
one?
about Tim Keith. We're talking about the Prism of 7, Barrett. The Prism of 7 is a 2
wow.
difficulties
Is it
5 check,
Holy
What?
deck.
+3 mid block, ally, E remove, add 1 character card from your removed from game pile to your hand or momentum.
What?
E, your charge or gauge attack gets +1 speed.
Okay.
So this fixes the where's our momentum coming from?
Yeah, there you go.
This turns character cards that are removed into momentum, which I think is obviously the better choice no matter what, because in a character like Suzaku, you're gonna pitch that momentum to discard pile. That's where you wanted them.
I mean, it depends. Like you might want it in hand as a block. Like you can use this defensively. So
Yeah.
But I think what it is, like if your character's cards in any gauge character now, if your opponent plays fatality on you and they remove your characters, you have ways to get them back, not just playing section 13.
yeah, I mean, or if you just if you have a crap opening hand and you have to get rid of them, like
And that's the like what if situation. The blatant thing of this card is that it is a spam speed on gauge attacks. It's also charges, but I don't think it's +1 spam speed on gauge attacks, and that is the biggest fault to most gauge attacks.
Dude, if I'm playing Turn to Loose and I have him stacked and I have 1 or 2 of this card down, everything I play is unblockable. Yeah, this card is nuts. Yeah, this is. I'm not going to say this is an immediate 4 of in any gauge character that can run it, but it is pretty damn close.
yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, this
Like,
card's awesome.
I would
me,
I
this
mean,
is,
I'd pretty much start at 3 for sure.
Yeah.
To me, this card is like, if you were ever playing static buildup and evil or order decks anyway, but now you're playing gauge related things and or charge related things, as long as you play some sort of character synergy. You're never playing static build-up ever again. I mean, most people aren't playing it anyway, but you're playing this 100% over it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about you, Dave. Well, I guess you aren't playing. It doesn't work on air. I know, like, I messed around with like trying to include like 1 or 2 copies of Section 13 in like Evil Turn Loose, and it was just one of those things where it's like, on the off chance I need to get back like a removed thing, like that's great, but like otherwise it's such a dead card.
Yeah.
And this is something where you're just like, no, like I'd love to see like 2 or 3 of these in play. Like,
so the gross thing about this card, especially internally specifically, is this combos so nastily with Evil Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this card with Evil Eye is disgusting. It is put a character in, clear it, discard, like pick it back up, pitch it from your hand to draw another card. Like, yeah, this card's really good in that character. So anyway, he still gets dunked by demanding submission decks though, so that's kind of a problem.
And all these, like, anything that's like a +1 is like pretty rough against like telekinetic mastery, and that card is very, very meta relevant. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Very true. Very true.
If you're playing against TK, that just means you're just
don't play
faster.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you're just aggressively milling them. So, no, I think this card's pretty good. I think this is one of the best cards in his support. Honestly,
I was gonna say I feel like I'd rather have this than like his rare or both of his rare foundations.
Yeah. Definitely more than Crimson Sparrow. Yeah, probably right. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just more useful all the time.
Sure.
If you're building towards it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the main protagonist, Yusuke.
Can I ask you guys? Because I've never seen an episode of this show.
Yeah.
What is that green thing he's got? Is that like a flute or something?
I believe it's his flute. It's the Mackay whistle thingy.
There's a card that says literally his poop.
Yeah, cool. So now I have to go back. So we're gonna talk about Yusuke Urameshi.
Playing in the card.
He's the bear of the Mackay whistle.
Well, it doesn't have the weird like top on it in that card.
Maybe he broke it or something at that point. I don't know. I haven't seen the show in years. I didn't even watch it. I'm like in episode 3 right now.
I honestly don't remember.
So Yusuke Urameshi, he is a 722 over stats, McGee. Death, good.
No, that's standard nowadays.
Life, well, whatever. Once per turn, the next card you attempt to play this turn gets -1 difficulty or -1 to its block modifier for each resource symbol it shares with your character. Remove 1 card from your discard pile with the word Spirit in the title. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. He's very, very spike-ish. Like, not exciting, but he's pretty solid. You know, he's solid.
I think, obviously, so the damage, instead of +1 or -1, just for free, it's not free, but the fact is that removing the card can necessarily get you set up to play things like Tech Sphere, because we have life. So the fact that we can do that, obviously we're going to see that all of his attacks have the word Spirit in it, as well as anything that might come out also in the set that has Spirit.
Guardian of the Spirit Sword.
Yep.
Yes, Guardian of the Spirit Sword
under death. Yeah.
Yep.
So I definitely see the spike relation. It's also, but more so like the actual like really free block, and we'll see in his support too that like you can get even more free blocks, or just a really easy high difficulty attack. Like this is a spike too that can play Laser Trident, but doesn't make it a 7 diff.
Oh,
like
sure.
Or 6 or whatever. So it's a 5.
It is a 5. Yes.
Strong.
No, I think he's actually pretty good. I guess like he's like I don't remember really seeing very many characters. I don't know, Dave. Maybe you know in Legacy, are there any characters like that reduce difficulty or block mod that much? Because this is kind of like a new thing for Jasco, I believe, right?
I'd have to dig back in the archives. I'm not really sure.
It's cool, man. No worries. No worries.
I play Shadow
No worries.
so like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like. I guess like Shadow Inheritance is busted in him too, I guess, right? If you can.
I mean, that card's just busted in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, true.
Yeah. I think he's pretty interesting. once we see the rest of the set and see how much other like spirit related nonsense on his symbols are kicking around, to see how often you can pay off on that E. So like, I don't know if he's as good as Spike One, right? Like, Spike One's big advantage is like effectively not free, but free enough -2 speed, block take 0 is usually going to be better than just a straight up -2 damage.
Yeah.
For your like repeatable ability on your oversatted 7-hander. But like his E's really interesting. Like late chain dunking some of his attacks, as we'll see as we go through this, is like there's some legit nonsense you can get away with this. So yeah, I think he's cool. I want to play with him. He's kind of like Spike in that, like, you look at him as like, man, this guy looks like kind of boring, and then you get him on the table, he's like, this guy's better than I thought he was going to be. And I think that's going to kind of be the case here. And he is also really new player friendly, which is nice because his abilities are really simple. So.
I think one of the biggest perks too about this is that just like Spike One, he has Death and Life. And I think one of the biggest perks, and when you look at the Death and Life versions of Spike One that were running around, it wasn't even necessarily that the generic character card made it good, or made it really consistent, or just made it feel like you could do a bunch of things. The cards that those symbols have access to in their card pool let you just play very different UFS and doing different things at any different point based off of what you need. And so I think it's the same situation. This character will be able to abuse whatever cards he gets for his symbols that he's playing, and then you get rewarded for playing the same cards across multiple builds because they match symbols.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's sort of something where you think it'll have almost like a core build, and then it'll be sort of like, which flavor did you want to go with, like the other stuff? Or
yeah, a little bit.
I mean, that's kind of how Spike One panned out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's like you've got about 25 to 30 cards that are going to be pretty much the same no matter what symbol you're running, and then it's flavor to taste from there, right? So yeah, he might wind up kind of similar to that. We'll see.
Moving on.
Sure.
Spirit Charged Kick. 5 difficulty, 3 check, +0 low block. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. 4 high for 6. Charge off of good. Guile. EX3
I hate
kick.
you all.
E, your next attack this turn gets +1 damage for each resource symbol it shares with your character. E, your next attack this turn gets -1 difficulty. That's a solid common, my friend.
Yeah.
I look at this card and I think that it's very reminiscent to Dirty Bow and Double Knee Press, because it's the like -1 difficulty kind of thing for the next one, so it doesn't count when it's your lead in.
Double knee press into this.
You can do that too, because it's also a charge. But but like when I look at it, it's like, okay, this is obviously just meant to set you up just across its abilities. Like, here's a 6 damage attack that I played on a 6, or I played on a 5, and my next attack is going to be bigger than this one, and it's going to be easier for me to play. So obviously it's one of those things, and you'll see like for like what Yusuke is being able to play these attacks later on in the chain, because he's also going to get the difficulty. The card like this says that you don't have to burn the once per turn ability right away, or even with this card when you're you're attacking with it. So it does what the common slot's supposed to do. It's just a filler attack that's meant to set up for the rest of the game.
Well, and it's also nice, right? It if you're running a lot of 5 diffs, like it's still gonna be a 5, but it couldn't make your other 5s like 4s. So like I remember when Faye came out, and it was just like I think she had one attack that like wasn't a 5 diff, and you were just like, man, like that's cool, but like on a 5, on a 6, on a 7 is not fun times. And with something like this, you can be like on a 5, and like all of a sudden like that's looking like, and then you have his E so that you can make something else like -2 or 3, and so it'll be on like a 4 or a 5 maybe, or less, or more, depending on what it is. And so like that just sort of like helps smooth out your like attack curve a lot. So yeah, I mean, this is sort of a weird, like, I don't know if it's amazing. It's kind of one of the, like, it's got great numbers. And so it's kind of like I guess really it's going to be maybe that E. Like, you know, if you're really playing like a theme deck where you have a lot of resources, like I could see it, you know, making it in. But yeah, it's I don't know, something about it. Like it feels like one of those attacks that might eventually just sort of make its way out of your deck for stuff that does like more sexier effects. Yeah. But you know, it might be one of those ones that like performs better like in, you know, on the table. So
yeah, I think it's okay. That's as good as I can say. But it's a giant block of stats.
Yep.
Yeah.
It pushes another giant block of stats. It has a plus or low. Like card's fine, but it doesn't like disrupt your opponent. It's like when I'm playing a 5-diff as my opener, I want my opponent to be like, God damn it, I have to deal with this card.
Yeah, it's no hyperbomb.
No, I just don't really get that out of this. It's like, okay, well, they're gonna play this 6 damage attack, and I'm just gonna have to like either eat it or block it or deal with it. But it doesn't really affect my board at all. Doesn't really affect game state that much. It's maybe they have a follow up. Like,
sure.
It's a comment. I mean, I'm not expecting the world out of it, but yeah, the card's fine. It's just not like super sexy and exciting. And oh man, I want to jam 4 of this in a deck.
I mean, kind of like Barrett said, with, you know, like double knee press. Like, yeah, like looking at this, like this almost seems like a Street Fighter. You know, like a Street Fighter attack of sort of like a lot of utility and like not very sexy.
Yeah, I think the plus or low saves it.
Honestly. Yeah. Oh, I mean
that block's amazing. Yeah. So, yeah. Should we move on to the next one here?
Spirit Charge Punch, 4 difficulty, 3 check, +1 mid, 4 mid 4 charge punch reversal. The next attack played this turn gets +3 or -3 damage.
It's garbage.
Yeah, I don't think this sees any play at all. Honestly, like,
this is just like the Chun-Li reversal.
Yeah, that thing doesn't see any play either.
And none of the cards doesn't see any play.
No. It just doesn't.
Whatever his name is, Sagat.
Sagat has one. It doesn't have one to speed though, I thought.
No. Tiger Uppercut actually does something. It stuns your opponent out.
I think the Sagat one is damage, and the Chun-Li one is speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just gonna move on, right? We don't like this card.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Boom. Next card. Spirit Gun.
To give it full fairness, like +1 mid on a 4/3 is fine.
Yeah.
Its stats are okay, but it's a mid. It's only 4 damage base. Like it's a reversal. It doesn't really do anything other than -2 damage on your next opponent's attack.
Devora.
It's yeah.
Oh, Devora could play it. Yeah, that'd be kind. Ooh, that's kind of neat.
It's okay in Devora, I guess.
Yeah, Devora would like this.
Bad, so who cares?
Yeah.
So,
Devora would like this card. Yes.
Let's go on to this next card, which is sexy as fuck.
Spirit Gun.
Better than some of Devora's other cards.
That's true.
5
5
difficulty, 3 check, +2 mid, 5 mid 6, ranged and safe. Yusuke enhance. Change the attack zone to low or high. Then you just get to like big, hey, I hate that foundation, get rid of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so glad this card isn't an ultra rare, so I don't have to track down 4 of them. I can just crack boxes and get it.
Oh yeah, dude.
But this card looks like it. So to me, this card reminds me a lot of like
Roundhouse Kick.
Yeah, it should be Roundhouse Kick. I was looking more like Guilt Seeker, but the initial stats on this card are incredibly more powerful, and you don't have to have and if you're playing Yusuke, you don't get punished for playing the 6 base speed attack, essentially.
Yeah. This card's
yeah, this card. Guile loves this card too, which is kind of nuts. He puts
sure.
3 or 4 speed on it and you can't block
3,
it.
right?
3,
but then 1 more because you get to pop something.
Yeah, you get to pop something, and it's just like, cool, man. And it's safe, and you don't have to worry about people reversaling your ass.
The biggest thing for me and all that fun is the fact that it has safe, and then like running this with like Kali Yuga is or just in Keelik, but
yeah, Keelik gets this and
Moonset.
Cole Khan gets this too, and Moonset.
Yeah.
I think, man, my Cole Khan deck off of life could be nothing but 5 difficulty attacks and Saw Blade Strike. Oh boy.
Yeah, this card's just really good. Like targeted, like we'll break it down for like targeted destruction just as a free enhance. Just saying, I get to play this card and I don't like that thing and go fuck yourself. Like
that's
really strong. And this card's overstated for a 5 diff. Like that's 11 stats worth of cards on a 5/3, which is pretty damn good. Plus it's safe, like we said. This card is also completely bonkers in Yusuke. Like a free rezone on a 5-speed attack is really good.
And he can give it 2 damage for his own ability.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
This card's just super solid.
Yeah.
This is not like I'm gonna win the game because I played Spirit Gun and it killed my opponent. It's I took my opponent's best defensive piece off the table and then I'm killing them with probably the next card we're gonna look at.
Where it's like, the thing is too is like, what are you gonna do? Not block this and just take 6? Okay.
Well, like in Spike 1, this becomes a 7 mid-7.
It's still
It's like, okay, for a 5, sure.
This card's awesome.
The other thing too is like a lot of his stuff too. I mean, this and the next one we're looking at are ranged, and I was talking like. I remember somebody telling me about like this really cool spike deck they saw that was using what's the thing that lock stuff in card pool, like where they can't discard things, the Jackie card, hand cannon.
Hand cannon, yeah,
because that re-ready stuff. So they would play some attack, they would play hand cannon, use specialized ammunition to make their next ranged attack like -3 difficulty, and then pitch to ready it. They'd play like a swimming birds on like a nothing, and then use specialized ammunition again and play some other ranged thing for like super cheap too. And so like Spirit Gun being ranged, if you're running that, like, you can sort of be like, oh yeah, it's like my like second or third attack, like that's okay.
And Yusuke can just do that by existing.
Yeah.
And keep that in mind, what you just said about that deck for the next attack too.
It's just move on. This attack's awesome. We'll move on. Spirit Shotgun, 5 difficulty, 3 check, +2 high block, 4 mid-7, breaker and ranged. This attack is +1 damage for each printed resource symbol in your card pool that matches a resource symbol with your character. If this attack is completely blocked, it still does damage, half damage rounded up, and for some reason it has a deadlock E because, those symbols don't have anything with deadlock. Destroy 3 of your opponent's foundations.
You just say that good doesn't have anything.
I'm talking about the other 2. The other 2 don't have shit. Good has a lot.
I'm pretty sure I just lost to Dave's deck at Nationals because his deck had deadlock and mine didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
True facts.
Anytime you can play a free E that says, hey, you're still taking damage, even if you fully block, that card's pretty decent.
Okay, so I just look at this card bare minimum. This is a 4 mid 8 and anybody that's a throw.
No.
Yeah. This card's a 4 mid 10 in Yusuke just by existing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even need to play anything else in front of it. It's just like, here's a 10 damage grab. Have fun. Like, yeah. This is also a relevant throw in Spike 1, who gives it +2 damage. Like, yeah, this card's...
I actually really see this card seeing play in Jet under good, because Jet likes to play a bunch of his own attacks, which share symbols specifically with him. And if you make the deck under good, you slam this at the end. And it's not just like a dead card either, because
it's breaker 3 in him.
It has breaker 3 as a 2 high block when you need it to be. I know Jet's not incredibly relevant, but like because Gage exists, he can still do things against certain characters, and he is one of the better stun characters. So like that by itself is actually a really good finisher for him, not just having to rely on like ISSPs or Punch and Judies or missile launcher.
Yeah. Just jam a 30 damage throw down their throat, and
it still means the only bad check you're playing is missile launcher.
By the way, I've seen this multiple times, like in people talking about it. It's because it says printed resource symbols. This will not work for your like Z-Salt deck, guys.
Yeah, it won't work with multiples.
No, this doesn't work for Zalt.
Multiple copies have no printed resource symbols.
Yes,
true.
They will not get damage for those.
What's the ruling
so
on Infinity Symbol?
How many of you
the
guys?
Infinity Symbol, I don't know.
It should have because the Infinity Symbol stuff will have it basically reverts to your. It has all 12 symbols on it, but
but are they printed?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think it's printed. They're not printed because it's in print Infinity.
Well, they've changed a bunch of stuff, so ask Jasco.
I'll ask Ryan when he comes in on Friday.
How many of you guys were playing when Path of the Master was legal?
I think none of us.
Yeah, no, I was not.
So Path of the Master, if you don't know what that card did, is that top enhance on an asset. So you could just jam it on anything, and it like defined the format for a while. So this card just being able to do that for free on like a reasonably static card otherwise is really scary. This card's really good.
So okay, and I'm doing more wheel turning because like I have to build new decks when the set comes out. And my current Cassie build loses not over yet, and so I'm thinking of like just branching off to different symbols. And this under good in Cassie, and there's some other cards in this character that you're going to play under good as well under Cassie. In Cassie, you're playing mostly Cassie stuff anyway, things like Nutcracker, things like Sense of Moral, things like Carrying a Legacy. This doesn't say printed attacks. You can shove foundations in your card pool that just match all the way in. It gets free damage. And then Cassie buffs the biggest weakness of this card, which is the speed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about just jamming stuff into the card pool, Sasha has a few cards of support that fit that bill.
Yeah.
If you want to just dump in like all your copies of Over the Top, and if you want to use like Sense of Adventure, you know, if this is just like the last thing, you're going all in, and you just want to throw your staging area into it, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can
There's definitely ways to do it.
Death. We get prepared to fight. We can shove more stuff in.
Sure.
It's true.
So.
Yeah, like most of his support, other than his 2 uncommon attacks, seem pretty saucy. As far as we haven't even gotten into the
foundations. Yeah, his foundations. I think the first. Oh, this one, Friends and Rivals. This card is dumb.
Oh god.
2 difficulty 5 check +2 low block ally. Our commit after you play an attack that shares at least 2 resource symbols with your character, your opponent commits 2 foundations.
This is better Tough as Bricks.
Yeah, but it's also...
It's better Spirit of the Wolf.
Yeah. Man, this thing, if you get hit with like a Spregio or a Dita... And
how about fucking Skull Barrier?
Skull Barrier?
Yeah, it's like if they just have a bunch of these out and they play one of those and they're like, commit your board.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, this card's nuts, man. And it's
dude.
Oh, it's also a common, by the way.
Common with a +2 low.
What's right, your character?
What was that, Barrett? Did you say you can play this card?
My character can play this card under death, and we're already playing Skull Barriers and Ditas that have Death and Water.
There you go. Attaboy. No, this card's gross. Yeah, any character that even remotely winks at reversals is going to want to at least consider this. So yeah,
this card's awesome. Yeah,
it's pretty saucy. Even on offense, it's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
I think it is too. Like you're going all in turn, committing a foundation.
Dude, this is the missing piece that Death fucking Lord Raptor needed to make your opponent completely miserable.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, I mean this works for Raptor, right?
Yeah, it sure
I mean,
does.
like you know,
guys, I won't be able to do the rest of them. I gotta head out.
Okay.
So, but good luck with the rest of the cards. They're really good. So
cool.
See you in Rockford, baby.
See you. I'll talk to you later. See you in Rockford. We'll coordinate. So.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, I got about 15 minutes left.
That's fine. We'll cut through this real fast. So next card is Genkai's Training.
This card.
This card's awesome.
Genkai's Training.
Like the E-commit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 1/5 no block E-commit. If you attempt to block this attack with a card that shares at least 2 resource symbols with your character, block modifier becomes 0. E, discard a momentum, ready this foundation, playable all committed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Giving anything a +0
now,
block.
I gotta say, like, I
awesome.
don't fully know how this works with, like, his E, something like Sakura, like any of that stuff. I think they're all triggered on, like, when you attempt it. So I think you could probably say I'll make it 0 first, and then I'll give it like minus whatever from the other effects.
Negative to the mod, basically.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's how it works, but I'm not. I mean, even if it just makes it 0, like that's fine. There's some stuff like I know the card that I'm most excited to try to figure out how to use with this is the old like cherry card for like the one set that they'll be together. There's like a +4 mid on the foundation.
Spirit
and like when
something.
you block with it, like you look at their hand and then tap one of their foundations.
Yeah, it's like Spirit Form, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Hey, that card's got Spirit on it.
It does, unfortunately, it does not share 2 symbols with Yusuke.
No, it's just
but that's his name, right? I don't.
Yeah, it's Yusuke. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it's a fairy card, so it does not have death because it's not a Kadath card.
Oh, it's too bad.
No close.
Moving on.
Cards is good. Yeah, that's a solid piece of spam. It's not going to be good in every deck if you already have like reasonable block mods. Like going from a +1 to a +0,
doesn't do
whatever. But going from a +3 to a +0 is kind of a big deal.
I mean, so, I think Scott was he's like, or I don't know if it was him or somebody else, but they're just like, yeah, so basically just reusable girl like any other, like.
Not always.
I mean, well, I'm saying, but for your foundation, like anything that's a +3 mod, like sure.
Yeah, basically -3 speed.
Yeah,
Stop's got a +3 mod on it. Just saying. So.
Keiko's Aid. 2 difficulty 5 check, +3 high. R flip after you block an attack. Your opponent's next attack this turn gets +2 difficulty. I have heard this called as Journey East instead of Journey West.
it's a good,
that seems fine. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just Journey West with a different trigger. With a better trigger.
Much better,
yeah. You're not taking damage.
Not having to like eat something to the face.
Well, the other thing too is the fact that it's an R instead of an E. So like like the thing with Journey West is like you'll be like, oh, E flip, and they're like, okay, palm.
Here's $1 million damage.
Block, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, this card's way better than Journey West. So.
One more card, and then we got picks for Rockford. I'll get Barrett's off air. Spirit Detective, 3 difficulty 5 check, no block. R remove 1 card from your discard pile with the word Spirit in its name. After an opponent plays an enhance ability on an attack card, cancel it. R commit, after the second copy of an attack is played this turn, seal it.
Alright.
I wish the top ability was playable while committed, so it would have some sort of synergy with it, but that's probably asking for too much. But it's okay. But yeah, I was that like it's kind of like reminiscent of Showtime in a way, but it doesn't. It removes itself, not like Showtime does not remove itself. Where you can remove a flash card to cancel and enhance on an attack card, I believe.
I mean, well, Showtime's also unique in this system.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can jam for this guy and feel fine about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably jam for Showtime and feel okay about it.
Yeah.
I played 3 when I was playing Raptor, and I usually felt okay. I think Ashley was playing 2 in her Worlds build, if I remember right. But anyway.
Okay.
Cards good. It is
the old 3-5 no block is a little rough.
3-5 no block's rough, but it doesn't matter to an extent because usually you're gonna just play this.
I think it's gonna basically boil down to how many cards with Spirit. I mean, this is a little bit like what's the Fatal Eye, the Zolt thing where you like remove a character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just on a card in the card pool or what that was, but.
Yeah.
It was the same sort of thing of like canceling stuff, and we sort of already said that like 2 of Yusuke's attacks are kind of a little sketchy. So like, he might only be running like 2. I guess if you have like 2 attacks, a couple of these, like, you're already going to be around like 10 to 12 like things to remove that have Spirit. What's his other foundation?
If you're playing Death, you're jamming 4 Spirit Swords. For sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you'll have at least 16 to 20 cards with Spirit on it, and I think that's enough. I think that's fine.
Plenty. Yeah.
Okay. So cool.
The fact too that you have foundations with Spirit on it that you can like probably find ways to destroy to pay costs on things to get them in your discard pile to keep Spirit Detective live, so you're not totally reliant on just like milling attacks to find it. Like like cards good.
Cool.
Again, once we see the whole set and we see how much other nonsense has the word Spirit on it in these symbols, we're going to be able to reevaluate this, but it's a little too early to call.
I don't think what's his name had any, but he also didn't share any symbols.
I was going to say he didn't share any symbols anyway.
I think Kuwabara should have. I wonder if Kuwabara should have. I believe Kuwabara should have good. That's maybe the only symbol they share, and he has Spirit Sword and Spirit Sword whatever. He has like a maximum Spirit Sword, I believe. He has two.
Like within the context of the R
Yeah. His weapon is called Spirit Sword. That's the joke.
Yeah.
It's a meme. So yeah.
All
right. So let's.
The art commit on this card is really good, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Like obviously it's not going to be good all the time, but a lot of decks just want to jam like a bunch of the same attack at you.
Mm-hmm.
And an R commit seal that's pretty saucy. Like that's a perfectly good ability. So card's interesting.
Cool,
like I said, I'm not like jumping to conclusions on this one until we see the rest of the set.
Oh, for sure.
it's got a lot of potential. I think this card's pretty solid.
Okay.
So
Sick.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to picks before Dave has to go. So,
okay.
Rockford, attendance. Dave, you get to go first. Attendance. This is
However
Price
many
is
people
Right.
You already have signed up +5.
This is Price is Right style. So, close without going over. So, I have 63 or 64 signed up currently. So,
Okay. I'm gonna say 72. I'm gonna say you're gonna get exactly as many as you have for your kit, which I think was
and
72.
this is nuts, man. 72 people at a PTC. It's crazy. Rob.
It's a big one. So
I'm gonna go the old 69. Yeah.
nice.
Well, I mean, there's a decent possibility that some of the people on his list aren't gonna show up. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I can think of
I'm trying to
one.
think positive here.
Yeah. I'm going to go 75.
Ooh.
This
And then-
guy's terrible at the Price is Right stuff.
I am. But you know what, though? I'm hoping for... I want more than 75, but I'm just hoping for more. So, first character, Dave.
Cassie Cage.
Cassie's going to win it, eh?
Honestly, I have no idea. The field's so open that
Yeah,
it's
true.
really tough
So
to make a call.
you want...
That new Mortal Kombat promo that just hit,
yeah.
that is now standard legal.
No, it's
Yeah.
not legal. It is not legal until September.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It is
That's
not,
weird. We just got ours.
Oh, it's just
at
like
our store
quarterly,
list.
right?
It's a quarter promo, so
Those
it's not...
are so
yeah,
weird.
Okay.
it's not legal till
Yeah.
September. Yeah.
Mm,
Do you want to go Cassie or you want to change it up? I'll allow it.
I'm gonna say Lord Raptor. He's still nuts.
After? All right.
Yeah.
Rob.
I'm gonna get torn loose before Barrett steals it from me again, like a dick.
pretty good pick.
I'm calling my own number.
Get it.
Oh,
Are you gonna say Guile?
No, it's
No.
Cole Khan, baby. And then
Khan,
on the wraparound, I'm gonna go with. Oh shoot. I'm gonna go with Dejanette.
That's a good pick.
You know what's really, really tempting?
What?
Garrett Brett 5 that.
Oh, that's right, character. Oh shit, I forgot all about
But-
them. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, first of all, like, I don't know how much he's been playing,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is something where he's just gonna come down and just fuck around.
Just
Like, I don't
troll
think he's
people
gonna.
for-
Yeah, I don't
troll
think
people for
he's
7
gonna take
rounds.
it seriously.
Yeah.
Like, it's really tempting. Like, maybe for Nats, but
Yeah.
you know what? Let's go Broberg 2 dot.
Ooh.
Okay.
I swear to God, he's gonna play something else. I'm like,
He will, or someone's gonna play Torn and get second again. So someone's gonna play Torn and get second. So it's just the way it goes. Dave.
I'll actually throw Cassie Cage in there. I
Okay.
still think she's nuts. So
Yeah.
I mean,
she
terrible.
has the best foundation in the game. That goes a long way.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many diversities?
3 out of her kit, honestly. Like,
How many diversities are we gonna have for this
top
tournament?
16.
We're probably gonna hit top 16. So, how many diversities are we gonna hit? Wait, that's the second thing. Are we actually gonna hit a top 16? That will be in there too.
Oh.
So,
what's the cutoff?
65.
Well, I called my shot with 72 people
So-
coming, so I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I'm going with yes too, and Rob's
Yeah,
basically
I'm
going with
yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
That's fine.
that could be a whole lot of easy points right there. Like if we
Yeah,
hit, it's
hey.
all easy points. So
Well, but if everybody gets the easy points, then
yeah, it still doesn't really matter. It just pads the stats a bit. So diversities. How many diversities in our top 16 tournament?
Assuming a top 16 cut, I'm gonna say 3.
3. All right.
Yeah.
Rob.
I'm thinking 2.
Two.
I mean, I feel like there have been a couple events recently where there's been a very like there's just been a very diverse field
Mhm.
anyway. So I don't know. I think it's just 2.
All right.
Could be less.
I'm going with 3 as well
Okay.
There you go.
because I'm going to diversify whoever's coming with Colo Khan. So,
Give it.
yeah.
That's really good.
Sick. So we'll get Barrett's picks after he gets back from whatever he's doing, and I'll talk to him about it. But yeah, I got nothing really. We got anything else? I don't think that's it. Right? We're done. I think. Cool. Thanks, Dave, for coming on. Appreciate it.
No problem, guys.
Rob.
You know Kevin's just gonna play Zhang Hua.
I know. I hope.
Oh, I kind of forgot that character
Oh
existed.
yeah.
It's alright,
Shit.
we had to leave something for Barrett.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please come to the Rockford PTC if you can make it. Rob, I hope you can make it. I really do.
I hope I can,
hope
too.
you can. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this episode specifically with all your friends, countrymen. Lend me your ears. Look for more episodes of the Versus series coming up. We have the Retro Versus series with Versus System, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, and maybe a couple other games coming out. We don't know yet.
Dude, if you do like a super old school Versus for the Full Metal Alchemist card game, I think I still have a couple packs.
You can buy that off this place called Stop to Shop. It's like a website that sells all
probably
old
for like $3.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I know they had like Zatchbell and Bleach, and it was weird. A bunch of weird old score games. But anywho,
all right, I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, man.
I'll see you guys later.
Anachronism, bro.
We'll talk to you later, Dave.
History
See you guys.
Channel game.
So have a good night, everyone.